Welcome back to Reading Reyes. We are reading The Modern Art of War by Hunter LeGua, Sun Tzu's Hidden Path to Peace and Wholeness. So we are in the middle of chapter one. If you want to catch up, the videos are up on the YouTube channel. Here you're on YouTube. Here you're live. So there's a link in my bio. Feel free to go click on it and then join it. By the way, over here is Instagram Live, just so you know, on YouTube. But we won't be wasting a lot of time today. No recap today. Although, up until now, I'll just share one of the takeaways from yesterday, which is really about the higher self and how if we listen to the higher self, we will experience heaven. We will literally experience heaven. If we listen to our lower self, we will experience earth. Now, you could replace earth with hell, in my opinion, but it's just this ground level, dirt level versus heaven. And really, that's for me the number one takeaway is it's just the higher consciousness, the higher self is in alignment with spirit, with source, with God, and the lower self is connected to the ego, and the ego just never fucking quits. It doesn't want to give up, and that's why you really have to stay the course, be disciplined, keep on your practice, because right when you think you fucking made it, right when you think you got your shit together, the ego shows up and like, oh, you think so, dog? You think you got it? You think you got it made? Wrong. So it really is. That's why I like to share the perspective that healing's never done. New level, new devil. That's really what it is. The ego never quits. So I may have found my peace. I may have found my love. I may have found my integrity. I may have found all sorts of beautiful things about me. But right when I take a break, the ego shows up, executes some sneaky shit, and all of a sudden I'm not fulfilling my purpose. I'm not loving my partner right. I'm not loving myself right. I'm going into an old pattern. I'm picking up old habits, because familiarity is one of the way the ego just comes on in and fucks with us. So that's my number one takeaway from yesterday's reading. Let's get into it. We are on page 26. Let me put on my blinders. I'm blind, okay? So it's not that I don't know how to read. I was one of the best readers my whole life. I took too much pride into it and would clown some people sometimes about it. But here we are now, and I'm partially blind in my left eye. So sometimes I don't see the word clearly, and I have to slow down and make sure that I'm saying the right word. So here we go, page 26. And right now, what I will recap is that we're going through some lessons in chapter one, and we have come across lessons 1 through 4 is what we're going through right now. The quest for inner peace, and we are lesson 1. Where's lesson 1? Because I see lesson 2 here. Okay, lesson 1, the quest for inner peace and wholeness. Lesson 2, the 5 principles of self-mastery. And now we are on lesson 3, consider the hard questions. Sun Tzu is asking the student to consider the hard questions, even before the journey has begun, in order to lay the groundwork to further understand how hard the struggle will be. We need to first ask, which is stronger, our intuitive or conscious thinking mind? Which one? I'm sorry, so let me read that sentence again. We need to first ask which one is stronger, our intuitive or conscious thinking mind. Which one is more likely to succeed? depending on where you see yourself on the path, will decide your answers. If you're just beginning to gain awareness of about how the mind operates more often, it is your mental mind that is most in control since it's caught up in the daily operations of life whenever difficulty arises. But gradually, this can and will change. Furthermore, Sun Tzu is asking, when difficulty arises and struggle abounds, how are you most likely to respond? Whether you're just beginning to cultivate present awareness or have spent years bringing the mind under control, the thinking mind can still step in and make demands to keep you from evolving a state of wholeness. Practice, then, isn't reserved for the meditation room, but occurs in the next unfolding moment and every situation. It is the next decision you make that essentially determines the answer. We can always try again. As you continue on Sun Tzu's hidden path to peace and wholeness, be attentive. Don't put off doing the work right now. Sun Tzu is asking you to consider which side is responding in each activity. Over time, as you change, you will gradually see improvements and notice whether or not the intuitive mind can or is ushering. So no. Sorry. You see, dude. See that, fucking eye. The intuitive mind can or is usurping your usurping. Oh man, I've never actually seen this word. It's USURPING, usurping. I don't even know what that means. I'm curious. Over time, as you change, you will gradually see improvements and notice whether or not the intuitive mind can or is usurping control over the habitual thinking mind and vice versa. That's an interesting word. I'm going to have to look it up. Most importantly, at this preliminary stage, we're given the ability to forecast victory or defeat for ourselves in attaining oneness with the whole. Lesson 4, encountering challenges. By reviewing the questions Sun Tzu provides, we can reorganize our weaknesses and grow determined to make changes, to do something different, even if the journey is difficult. Sun Tzu is asking, are you up for the challenge? If we put the teachings into practice, we can change the course of our lives and conquer the habituated thinking mind hold on us. When we know our own weaknesses, we need to address them to learn about ourselves so we can grow. And if we're not making progress, we can then easily make modifications to what we're doing accordingly. Equally, Sun Tzu teaches that in order to break the illusion of the of the earthly realm or day-to-day environments, the student warrior needs to be vigilant or their own ability. They need to be vigilant of their own ability to deceive. For real, dude. The mind's a tricky piece of shit, dude. I'm telling you. The only enemy you'll find on the journey is within. Even when others seem to be making life difficult, you'll soon discover it's your own mind that's creating the difficulties. It's true. You know, like one of the most powerful um, lessons I've learned is to not take anything personally. It's one of the spiritual lessons in the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And that practice, although difficult, especially when you're dealing with someone that you love, very difficult, but it will garner peace. It will smooth out the rough edges of life when you don't take it personal. Because what someone does has nothing to do with you, it has everything to do with them. It's how their capacity to react is exposed. Their talent to react or their lack of talent to react will be exposed. It'll come out. It will divulge itself. That's really what's happening. So I mean, it's not easy, but that's totally lo que está pasando. Okay. As we put Sun Tzu's teachings into, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. When we are bothered by something external, an example, a dog barking, noisy traffic, an annoying relative, it may seem like the subject of our agitation, but it's actually our perception making it so. This may be hard. This may be a hard idea to consider because instinctively our emotions make us feel bothered when we hear noise or come in conflict with others. But if you were to investigate further, you may eventually realize it is actually your choice, as your emotion arising from that experience is the root of the disturbance. As we put Sun Tzu's teachings into practice, we gain new perceptions and gradually recognize that it's only our mind that is ascribing the irritation, which is unnatural. With practice, the more we work with disciplining the mind and desires, the more we will see who is really intruding on whom. For example, as we blame external forces such as a bad parent, bully boss, pain, and so on for our perceived woes, the sooner we can accept responsibility for everything in our life and refrain from blaming others, the sooner we'll increase our awareness and be able to conquer our difficulties and make enduring changes. That's literally one of my spiritual rules. I wrote that, and if you see here, which one is it talking about? Only two ways to live: victim or responsible, towards the bottom right there. Only two ways, and it's actually scratched out as well because I messed up and forgot to write ways. But there's only two ways to live: victim or responsible. And responsibility is literally 100% how you react. Don't think of it so much as blame, fault. But I highly suggest that that's how you approach. That's how you approach when something does happen. Take full responsibility. Make it your fault. Make it your thing. Make it that you somehow, some way caused it. And if you go inward that way, you will discover that you did. Even if where you reach is just how you thought about it. The dog barking example, right? fucking bark, 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 bark. But if I just stop for a moment and remember that I love dogs, remember that dogs are dope. They're so cool. They're fun. They play. And most of the time, a dog is barking because it's anxious, it's worried, it's lonely, it's scared. You know, it has feelings too. And so it's just barking. It's just barking. It's a sign of life. And life is beautiful. All life is beautiful. Or I could just fucking stay and be like, shut the fuck up, dog. It's my choice. Either way, I'm either going to see something beautiful that gives me peace, that gives me, cool, that's awesome. Or I'm going to think something that agitates me and aggravates me and causes more difficulty, causes more distress. Either way, I'm choosing the motherfucker. Okay? Sun Tzu warns that the disquieted mind will try to deceive the warrior, who will grow bored and tired quickly. Without vigilance, we can turn from a quest for wisdom and return to our old ways and habits. The key to winning the battle over thoughts is letting go of striving. Our ability to work our minds without pursuing a result or an outcome is essential to Sun Tzu's practice all day and in every activity. The goal is to not be pulled one way or the other, but to allow the mind room to experience equanimity or calm balance no matter the occasion. And we're not suddenly devoid of our goals or ambition, but we can evolve from an acting out of fear or worry to become more detached from the outcome, allowing the future to form naturally and in accord with our peaceful intentions. To this end, Sun Tzu asks the student warrior to approach each moment with vigilance, especially when the body/senses begin to fight for attention. For example, when you feel tired, lazy, anxious, depressed. She warns, do what you must to avoid acknowledging the self, end quote. Moreover, we need not suppress our emotions, but simply not allow them a footing. Let them come and go like clouds or cars passing ours on the highway. If we're angry, we should acknowledge it. There's no need to feel degraded, but rather view it as part of our imperfect perfection and carry on. Gradually, we will see these responses as habituated actions which no longer serve us, and we will effortlessly let go, ushering in our own harmony. If you happen to experience a moment risen to high emotion, then investigate your emotional state and work with it. Understand it until it's no longer controlling you. Lesson 5, finding your inner teacher. The teacher's role to guide the student warrior and to anticipate what challenges will arise, in this case, our intuitive knowing, serves as the sole authority. The inner teacher hiding in plain sight, and we can make a pledge to and trust wholeheartedly. I love that. I really do. It's saying intuition is the almighty teacher within us. That our intuition, if we were just to follow it, we would get to heaven on earth. what that would look like. It's harmony, peace, joy, love, beauty, abundance, like the whole shebang, the whole shebang, just by listening to the intuition over the mind. That's what Sun Tzu is suggesting. The misinterpreted phrase, when the student is ready, a teacher will appear, has misled students for generations into a lifelong, extended search for a special external teacher, when it has only ever implied the awareness of the teacher within, hidden, but no less actively advocating on their behalf. When you are ready, your hidden teacher, your intuition, will appear. This is why Sun Tzu is asking us to take an active role in our own hidden path to peace and wholeness, and not to be fooled by distractions. We're asked to prepare, to lay the plan, to grow aware of the challenges we face right from the start, so that we don't turn away. Ultimately, our goal is to be present, to work from an understanding that doesn't worry about the future or the past. By doing so, we can assess or calculate our own ability to foresee our success in evolving to a regular state of self awareness. We are always working toward freeing the inner teacher, our intuition or intuitive knowing, to be our guide without interference. Recognizing your true nature. On our journey to recognize our true nature, it is not enough to just read Sun Tzu. We need to apply the teachings to our daily lives and experience a constant state of present awareness, constant knowing, which is our natural path. If not, our thoughts or perceptions will continue to dwell in a state of war. Oof. To begin, we can cultivate direct observation of our thoughts in order to bring harmony and peace to our day-to-day moment and life. When this happens, even when we make a small effort, our outer world will react and respond to the care we're giving it. Gentleness prevails and kindness reigns as we bring love and perfection to all we do. With time, you'll not want to let a momentary careless thought go unaccounted for, in case it could go out and create war or imbalance in the world. Sickness. All right. Something different's happening here. How to begin to apply the teachings to a daily practice. I still don't know how to fix these lights, by the way. They automatically shut off when I stop moving. So once in a while, I just got to go, hey. How can we begin to apply the teachings to a daily practice? Chapter 1 provides the preparatory step needed to recognize our mind's weaknesses. As an experienced teacher, Sun Tzu is aware of many things that will prevent our first steps on the hidden path to peace and wholeness, while also recognizing the limitations of what a student can know at the early stage. In short, if at the beginning of your commitment you know something that will hinder you, reveal it so that you can overcome it. confront it, bring it out into the open, and be curious. Sun Tzu's message to preparation, I'm sorry, of preparation echoes the wisdom of the bougie proverb. And it's Buji. It's not, I don't think it's the other bougie. The bougie proverb: before you climb a tree, you must start at the bottom. When we lay plans, beginnings at the bottom, we have our whole journey ahead and the knowledge of every step we will take upon it. Cool beans. Exercise. Reflect on your known obstacles. On your tablet or piece of paper, draw two columns. Now make a list of any obstacles and hindrances you know of. Put these in one column, and in the next, we're write a suggested solution. For example, if you were trying to establish a schedule for walking, but seem to have many things in your daily life that prevent you from undertaking a regular practice, you list your list might look like the example in figure 1. And this is the example in figure 1. Okay, hindrances, time restrictions. Solution: get up a half hour earlier or stay up half hour later to make time for walking. Too tired most days. Change my diet to include lighter, more energy boosting foods that will give me more stamina. Establish a mindset that overrules tiredness. Can't find a good place to walk. Research nearby parks or trails to walk. Be open to new possibilities and aim for easily accessible places. Look into an indoor mall or power walk the supermarket aisles. This is pretty solid, actually. And for me, what comes to mind right now is welcome. Uh, I If you have been following me for a second, you know I've had my months or even years of various disciplines that I have implemented in my life to overcome some of my life challenges. And there's no coincidence that I'm reading this book. I didn't know that I was going to read this book. I actually thought I was going to read. Thought I was going to read this book, The 8 Rules of Love by Jay Shetty. And I am now, but not the committed daily reading as is the modern art of war. Now, why is that? Because love is one of my primary objectives in my life. I want to be a married man with the love of my life, creating memories together as a partnership with full independent autonomy and respect and just like that sweet shit, romance stuff, scream from the mountains, devoted to one another. Her needs are my needs kind of shit. And I want to master love. In doing so, what I've realized, especially recently exiting my relationship, is I didn't have peace within me. I had like chaos within me. And when I pulled back from the relationship, initially I ended it. At least that's how it feels to me, because of X, Y, and Z. And if someone ends it, that means they're not getting what they would like. They're not receiving what they would like. And if there's only two ways to live, victim or responsible, then I'm going to look at the end of that relationship as it's my fault. And when I look at it as it's my fault, I'm being responsible for my role in the undesired outcome. I didn't desire that outcome. I didn't want my relationship to end, but that's what happened. So now I have to feel my feelings, don't run away from them, feel them, and then explore myself. What did I do? And when I did that work, I had a lot of unsettled things within my heart, in my mind, things that impacted my self-esteem, things that impacted how secure I was about myself, things that impacted my courage or fears, things that impacted energetically what I put out into the world. And when I pull back and I keep it spiritual, then I look at my relationship as being impacted by that negative vibration within me that I was withholding, but energy comes out, truth comes out. And sometimes the actual details of the truth don't even need to come out to impact your life. Energetically, by withholding, for example, the other person might feel energy of something's wrong with trust. Something's telling me I shouldn't trust this. And you may not be lying. You may not be fucking around. You may be loyal as fuck, handling business, trying to build something. But that withholding has a consequence. To me, self-love is rooted in radical acceptance. And when you can't tell the truth about something without even having someone need to ask you, right? Without using that, okay, well, they didn't ask, so I'm not going to say. But it should be something that they could know. They should know. I want to have that relationship where they know every fucking thing about me. They know my password to all my devices. I can leave it open. I don't give a shit. I want to be like that. Right? So if I'm withholding just information, I was withholding, I realized, and I'll give you a real sample. I was withholding information from my past before her, right? Some of it could be failed business ventures that still have debt involved. And I didn't want to share the details, so I would keep it general. Oh yeah, I still owe money to some people. But the withholding of the transparency, like that brings up another point, honesty versus transparency. If I'm honest, cool. But if I'm honest but not transparent, then again, I'm impacting the energy between me and whoever I'm not being transparent with. And it's impacting the radical acceptance I have of myself. Because if I'm unable to tell the full transparent truth, then I feel something within me that fears or is worried or some sort of that kind of energy concerned about the outcome of me divulging this transparent information. And then I'm withholding. So there's an energy that feels like I'm hiding something because I am. But I wasn't thinking like that at the time. I had to pull out. I had to pull back and go, oh shit. That might have caused an energetic ripple in my relationship. And then that makes it real difficult, right? Because now you have to confront that you might have pulled out early, which is never a bad thing. but like that I was maybe more responsible than I gave credit to myself for. And then I decided to make a decision that ended this relationship. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. But you helped cause it. So what then? What now? And I just got to sit with that. I got to explore that. I got to explore that. And so back to the book, what he's suggesting now is I'm in this place in my life where I want to reconquer my mornings. Now, I don't need to be a 5 a.m. person because I also am realizing how beautiful it is to work at night. As you can tell, that's when I'm working right now. I love the vibe at night. I'm a night owl. I've always been that. And I've been forcing this morning thing. But I really do want to conquer my mornings. So, in this example, what is hindering me from waking up and immediately executing on my morning routine? And one of the things that comes up is that I go to sleep too late. Now, I'm not working past midnight most nights, but sometimes I am. Last night, I was working till like about 2 o'clock in the morning. But that's not the way I want to work. I don't want to work that late. If I'm up that late, I went to a comedy show or I spent the night at a comedy club and did that. But I don't want to spend it working that late. But I get inspired when I get inspired. Now, I have to like consider that, right? Like if my objective is to make sure, because I've been inconsistent with my morning routines. I'm hitting like 4 out of 7 days. And I don't want it like that. I want it every day. So what's hindering me is that I have this mindset or this belief almost that if I don't get up at 5 or 6, then what's the point? I might as well just like try to flip it and do what I was going to do in the morning and do it in the evening. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And my higher self tells me, dude, let's do the morning thing. Let's do our morning routine. Let's meditate. Let's do breath work. Let's work out. Let's stretch. Let's read. Let's journal. Let's use our high performance planner. Like that's what I want. So what I'm going to do is regardless of what time I go to bed, I ensure that I get at least 6 hours of sleep. I'm going to target 8, look at my calendar the next day, and make sure that I have the 3 to 4 hours I need to execute on my morning routine. That's what I can do without this mindset that if it's not at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., then what's the point? Then I fucking screw myself over and I don't hit my objective. So that's just an example. I just want to share one example, and I think I zigzagged my way there. But let's continue. When we identify with and highlight our perceived limitations. I'm going to start that over. When we identify with and highlight our perceived limitations, we are essentially accepting responsibility for them, not trying to hide or push them away. We accept who we are at the moment. Yet we're also acknowledging that we're willing to confront what might hold us back, our habits and patterns that we've been ruled by for so long. So, if you know you have something preventing you from succeeding according to Sun Tzu, you can make adjustments to prevent failure. That's literally the example I just gave you, right? Like literally the example. When we look at the nature of what we deem an obstacle, we're also addressing our own dual thinking. In theory, there are no obstacles, only our perception that they exist. For example, if you feel you want to lose weight and then can't stick to a diet, it creates an obstacle or sense of failure, and you feel bad. The place to start is with the you who believes that your current weight is a thing to reduce. Why? If you have a sense of imbalance, for example, you feel you are too heavy, you can bring the body into balance by making another choice in the next instant without resistance or the potential harm of labeling yourself as bad for having put on weight or overeating or creating the duality that a better you who weighs less exists elsewhere, usually the future. If we can get off the mental seesaw of here, there, heavy, not heavy, we remove the dualistic nature of how we perceive reality, our life. We free ourselves and can eat when and what we want to eat and walk if and when we want to walk, all with harmony, not duality. It's your path. You're the general and in charge of your journey. So take it a thought at a time with equanimity. At the same time, whoosh, I feel like the light was already going to go down. At the same time, once you make up your mind, don't give in. If you do, then the body senses are in control, not your mind. So again, so already I'm seeing this. If it's my habit to wake up, right? If it's my habit to wake up and then tell myself, it's not 5 o'clock, what's the point? I'm going to let that thought come through. I'm going to let it do its thing. And then I'm going to go, but that's not who we are. Who we are is the person that right now honors himself and gets up, goes to the bathroom, splashes some water on his face, cold water, wake up, brushes his teeth, is gentle with himself, kind to his body, kind to himself. No biggie, all good. Brush your teeth, then gently come back, lay down, put on your eye mask, throw on your headphones, and put on 90 breath work. We're just going to breathe. We don't have to think. We just breathe. And we do it. And boom, all of a sudden I'm engaged in my morning routine. But I allowed me to be my human me. I allowed me to show up. I allowed me to be. And then I was okay with it. And then I could manage my thoughts and modify and adjust without giving into my senses of, but this blanket is so, it's so cozy. Or my senses of, oh man, I'm so sore. Like I could use some more rest. Like, cool. Get some more rest later. Not right now. Get up. Just an example, okay? Now you try. Fill in the chart, figure 2, with a list of the hindrances that are keeping or have kept you from beginning work on the hidden path to peace and wholeness. What things currently prevent you from creating a new balance in your life? What things have deterred you in the past? Write them down now and consider possible solutions. How can you work with those perceived hurdles to create harmony in your life by resolving those obstacles? Then pick one and start there. Remember that practice doesn't necessarily mean a specific time set aside for an activity like meditation, prayer, or exercise. It certainly can be and immensely helpful, but it can also suggest any pursuit throughout the day that provides the space to work with your mind and emotions. Every day, you engage difficulty and make decisions that pull you into emotional states that aren't in balance. You probably don't need to go far to find these battles. To begin, you could make a list of hindrances you encounter throughout a typical day. An example might be when you feel your workplace is detrimental to maintaining a balanced mind. One that is not in a constant state of good or bad, happy or sad, etc., but whole on experiencing balance with obstacles when what obstacles present themselves in your workplace, and what can you do to create more balance on a regular basis. So it's just saying the exercise, like, for what you want to be, for who your intuition is telling you to be, who your higher self is telling you to be. What is standing in the way? What is standing in the way of you not eating right? What gets in the way? What hinders you? So I'll use another example for me. I want to love on my body more. Notice how I didn't do what I did yesterday, which is like, oh, I want to get rid of my diabetes. I want to get eradicated. That's the word I use. I want to eradicate the enemy that is diabetes. I don't want to think of it like that. I rather choose love. And so I rather, although it's the same subject matter, diabetes, health, my body, I rather look at it as, I want to love on my body. I want to respect my body to the utmost while I stare at a can of Diet Coke right in front of me. So I shouldn't be drinking this. Aspartame fucks with the neuroplasticity, with the connections in the brain, and makes it more difficult to manage the mind, to master the mind. So what's standing in the way of me quitting that? I love that burn. I love that fucking burn. I love it. So I'll explore is loving it. Is my belief that I love that burn so much that I can't not have it. Can I rework that? And every time I desire one, I got to stop, allow that thought or that emotion or that sense that I need it, that I want it, that I have to have it. Allow that to come through, look at it, observe it, and then work with it. What can I do then? Like, I don't need it. In reality, I just need water. I have my Kangen water right here. I buy it like this. It doesn't, normally be in this. I have my glass jug, but I left it at home. So Kangen water is way healthier. It's full of hydrogen. Hydrogen water is so healing, so healthy, so powerful. I can have that. I don't need to have that. And so just looking at these things, waking up in the morning, what is hindering me? How can I overcome it? What solution can I write down? So that's the practice. Feel free to pause the video and do your thing. All right. Preparation is key, as are organization and discipline, to cultivating preparation is key, as is organization and discipline, to cultivating a lasting practice that will establish a naturally quiet mind of self-mastery. Whether we're taking our first step or our millionth, we have much to gain by addressing what might hinder us. The more we dedicate ourselves to our new path, the more courage and discipline will be at our command. Eventually, the more we practice, the more our enemies will reveal themselves, and we are able to combat them. As Sun Tzu explains, knowing the obstacle ahead of time, we can lay plans to achieve success. In doing so, we're being a wise general on the battlefield of life. Damn. I love this. I love this. Sun Tzu is a philosophical genius. It's radical acceptance of our humanity. Radically accept your humanity. You're flawed. You're a creature of habits. And if today's your first step of changing the rest of your life, then do not be dismissive that your whole vessel designed really not to change in regards to the ego, the subconscious mind, and the nervous system. Those three amigos don't want you to change. So the enemy, the ego, is going to resist. It's going to fight. It's literally going to be like a fucking little baby throwing a tantrum. While your heart's like, dude, I just want to work out in the morning. I know I'm going to feel so good. I know I'm going to love my ass in 6 months. I know I'm going to love my new arms in 6 months. I just fucking know it. I want to feel that. And the ego's like, dude, we haven't worked out since high school. We're 45. What are you talking about? You can't go hike a 12-mile hike anymore. That shit was 10 years ago, dog. Come on now, you're going to kill you. Remember that leg infection you got? Your nerves are damaged. Your tissue's damaged. Like, don't be doing that shit. Take it easy, bro. That's what my ego's going to tell me. Because my ego just wants me to continue to live. It's basic as fuck. It just wants me to survive. But the heart, the soul, the higher self wants us to thrive. It wants us to fulfill the fucking purpose that we were born to fulfill, which the ego is standing in the way of, which these habitual thought patterns and these emotions that we've never really checked are in full control. And they control our reactions up until now. So what Sun Tzu is guiding is that if you could be preemptive, I know that when I come across this crossroad, when I go get food, for example, I normally will order a Diet Coke. I know that feeling, that sensation is going to come through. I know the desire is going to come through, that I want this meal to go with a Diet Coke. It's what I always order. Not today. Because it's not in alignment with the higher self. It's not in alignment with heaven. It's not. Why would I put all those chemicals of Diet Coke in my body? Now, I'm saying this, right? And I know I'm going to fail. I know I'm going to be challenged. I know. I'm not preaching. I'm learning with you. This is me learning real time. I'm reading this book for the first time. I'm learning with you. Together we thrive. I love that even though you're not next to me right now, and one day you will be, but you're right there. You're right there. You are right here. You are right here on YouTube, and you're right here on Instagram. The three of you, the two of you. And then whoever watches later. And I'm holding myself accountable because I want to change. And I know that I need guidance from masters that have come ahead of me. Sun Tzu developed his system in the 1700s. I was born in 1979. The only thing we have in common in that regard is there was a 7 and a 1 in the year that we were born. That's it. Or that he was doing his thing and I was born. You know, like it is just humility to understand that up until now, even at 45, 2 weeks from being 46, even now, I don't know shit. And that there's so much room to learn. And with that said, I'll rephrase it. I know a lot, but in the big scheme of things, there's so much room to acquire more knowledge and to explore different ways to love, different ways to master the mind, because I obviously have not mastered it. I've lost over 200 pounds. I've stopped drinking for nearly a year. I'm 2 weeks away from a year. No, actually less than that. Today is the 21st. So I am 5 days away from completing a year of no drinking effortlessly. Wasn't hard. The weight loss was gradual and consistent. Still kept it off. But I have other battles. I have other wars that I'm fighting. I'm still not a 6-figure coach, let alone a 7-figure coach. And I do want to be that. I will be that. I'm on my way to do that. So I'm here building programs, designing a community where I can be of service. But what's caused the procrastination? What's caused the delay? Everything's in divine timing. But when I look at it, it was my mind. It was my mind getting in the way. So I tap into other knowledgeable people like Jocko Willink, who wrote Discipline Equals Freedom. It's a field manual. He's a Navy SEAL, former Navy SEAL, and he mastered discipline. I can learn from him. And now, coupled with Sun Tzu's philosophy of how to be preemptive when I'm about to engage in war, and I know I'm going to be at war with this thought pattern, with this habitual emotional reaction to delicious food, where I want a fucking Diet Coke, or I get high and smoke my weed and I know I'm going to want something sweet. What can I do in that regard? I need to stay away from aspartame, but I want to satisfy the sweet desire. What is the best route to satisfy that in a healthy fashion? And there's healthy snacks. And I know some of them. So that is one way that I can overcome that war that is inevitable because I still smoke weed. So I'm going to get high and I'm going to get the munchies and I'm going to want something that's not good for me. So what can I do to combat it? As a matter of fact, I gave you an example yesterday. I didn't eat right yesterday, meaning I didn't eat at the right times. So when I left here near midnight, I was starving. So I went to In-N-Out. Now, In-N-Out has options for diabetics. I could get a protein burger. I could get a Flying Dutchman. I did that. But I also got a motherfucking Diet Coke. And I got some puppy patties for Cube. But next time I'll get the Flying Dutchman, but I won't get the Diet Coke. I said, and I have a date already, by the way, that I'm going to execute. I'm using the same thing as I did with my no drinking. I set out a goal for 369 days so that it lines up with my birthday. So on January 26th, I will commence. Actually, I have to make sure because if there's a leap year or something, but I want to make sure it's 369 days till my next birthday in 2026 that I don't drink a Diet Coke. I don't drink any soda whatsoever. I'm going to try to get rid of soda in my life. Now, this is one of my crack cocaine since I was a fucking baby. As a matter of fact, on Monday, which I believe was yesterday, I went to a wake where it was a friend of the family, and my mom reunited with these old friends from back in her country, back in the 1960s that she grew up with. And in that space, one of the gentlemen, Tapia, was somebody that I would play around with. And like he would let me climb all over his head and be a dick like a little baby, right? I was 1-2 years old. And I would get crazy. And, and my uncle would take care of me. And they were drinkers, so they go to the liquor store. And my mom was saying how my uncle would just feed me all day. He would babysit me till like 2 p.m, from like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And what he would feed me would be sodas and chips or sodas and chocolates. Like my uncle gave me fucking diabetes. You know what I'm saying? but that I have to be very aware and conscious that the reason this has been such a difficult war that I'm engaged in regards to sugar and health and now Diet Cokes is because at a very early age, I was given this poison and the body gets addicted. Just like how we react. Most of us react and get this. And right here, Instagram, let me know if I'm right about this. Most of us hate when we see our parents in us when we react to things. Like, I'm a snapperhead turtle, and I got that shit from my mama. My mama's a snapperhead turtle, quick to react, fucking quick. And I'm like, damn, I'm like my mom. And I remember when I was a little kid, I'm never gonna be like you. You're always just grumpy and mad, and you're just always yelling. I'm not gonna be a yeller. I turned out to be a yeller. And now I'm a little more calm. But it took, I'm in this journey like 9.5 years, and I still can have my reactions. Road rage is still a thing that I deal with because I have that temper, right? I have that fire. But now Sun Tzu's giving me something to work with. All right, we're almost done. We got like a page or two. The first step on the hidden path to peace and wholeness. Number 1, apply the teachings in laying plans in whatever way best reveals itself to you without fear or hindrance. 2, craft a plan toward a new life goal or daily practice, or simply establish a plan for mastering the mind as the priority in your life. 3, name your perceived weaknesses and call out any habits that will create potential obstacles. Then work to clear them so you can achieve success. Laying plans is the first step on the hidden path to peace and wholeness. When we trust our ability to create change, we can make an earnest commitment toward a goal and establish an unwavering mindset to achieve it. It's so powerful, this thing, this book. It's powerful because I know Sun Tzu is a philosopher, then he's a general of war, and right away, this is the end of chapter 1. But he's literally telling you that what you need to do is face your weaknesses, face all the things that stand in the way of you attaining whatever the fuck you want to attain. Make a list. Face it. Face yourself. Make a list. See in writing how you stand in your own way, whether it's perceptions, reactions, weaknesses of any kind, habits, emotions, thought patterns. Make a list. And then set a goal. Dream. What is the objective? Why are you even trying to master your mind? Why am I trying to master my mind? Because I want to fucking change the world. And I'm not being like I'm not fucking around. I'm writing a book that I believe is going to change the world. I'm designing a program that I believe is going to change the world. I feel like when I honor my higher self, when I listen to my higher self, I'm God's general. I'm here to find his army through my gifts. And that could be reading a book, singing a song, coaching somebody, guiding somebody. It could be through comedy. It could be through whatever gifts God gave me. A peach tree doesn't eat peaches. So I also have to be mindful that my gifts may not be for me, but they're definitely for those that I come across. And that's how I can be of service to others. But in order to maximize the impact I have, and help as many people as I possibly can, I need to conquer my mornings. I need to love on my body in such a way, respect my body in such a way, honor my body in such a way that it's strong, that it generates strength through mastering of the mind, through conquering my own wars, through doing this work. And it starts in the gut. So, how I eat, what I consume, it starts in the gut. Next is whatever I consume: audio, visual, company, companionship, relationships, literal environment, beach, city, nature, trees, mountain, desert, a loud apartment complex. Where am I? What am I doing to myself? What am I consuming? I have to be super mindful about it. So that's the reading for today. And actually, let me check this out here. Oh yeah, so each chapter ends with a rumination. So I'm going to go through these ruminations, and I'm just going to read them all, and then we're done. So they're not full pages. They're just, and I'll read them. So we have two pages of it. Okay? We're almost done. Hold on to your knickers. The student, quote, rumination. So after each chapter, he gives us this, what I'm about to read, a version of this some way, somehow. Starts off with a quote. The student who makes many calculations before the battle is fought will win. What? Let me. The student who makes many calculations before the battle will win out over the disquieted mind. Is fought? I think that's a typo. I think they have a typo in the book. I'm literally reading it correct. The student who makes many calculations before the battle is fought. Oh no, just reading it wrong. There should be a comma there though. The student who makes many calculations before the battle is fought will win out over the disquieted mind. I'm telling you, dude, these glasses, they're a lifesaver. Because I wouldn't even be able to read that at all without my glasses. Number 1, what is Sun Tzu saying specifically to you? Remember, it is your hidden path to peace and wellness, and needs to begin trusting your inner teacher. Then apply it. What might this inner wisdom reveal to you about where you are on your personal life journey? So out of what we've read so far, what is Sun Tzu saying to you? What are you receiving? What is hitting? Us life coaches love to ask that. What's hitting from what I'm saying? Like what I just shared, what's hitting? It reveals like what you're connecting to. To me is that preemptive approach to war. That's what hit most. And to be mindful, when I leave and I haven't eaten in the morning, I'm going to go out in the street, and then the drive-thrus are going to call me. And drive-thrus hardly ever have the healthiest foods. So already, if I leave my house without eating, I'm creating a hurdle. I know myself. I'm going to be tempted to hit a drive-thru instead of a sit-down restaurant with quality food. So in order to create a solution, I should eat at home before I leave the house, which means I might have to adjust the times I wake up and how long I do my morning routine to leave enough time to eat before I exit the home. That's an example. I love that preemptive approach to war, preparation to war, making sure, like the initial quote, the student who prepares, who calculates before the battle is fought, will win over the disquieted mind. That's what it means. Number two, of the five senses, sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch, which one causes you the most distraction at this time and why? So for me, taste. Taste causes me most distraction. Taste. That's the one. Why? Because health is my biggest challenge. Breaking addictions. Three, what fears in your mind keep you from pursuing an inner journey towards self-mastery? Nothing now. Many things before, but nothing now. I'm about it. I've been showing up for 9.5 years. I ain't going nowhere. 4, looking closer at Sun Tzu's questions for laying plans across. Looking closer at Sun Tzu's questions for laying plans, answer the following. Which of the two selves, higher or lower, is imbued with present awareness? Of the two, which has more ability of succeeding? Which is more in balance and therefore has the advantage? When obstacles arise, how can you bring your mind, thoughts, desires, to a state of balance? On which side is discipline most rigorously enforced? Which side is more highly trained? And all these have to do with the higher self or the lower self. Which one's more disciplined? Which one has the most chance to succeed? Which one? I think it's pretty fucking clear. 5, can you forecast victory or defeat? Yes, we can. What does this reveal about your own nature? Does it deter or encourage you? Are you up for the challenge already? Why or why not? It inspires me. I'm up for the challenge. Excuse me. I'm up for the challenge. Okay. Because I want to fucking change my life. Still more. I'm not done. I still want to evolve. Number 6, in what ways have you deceived yourself and deterred your own journey on the balance path? Give examples of where you've blamed someone else for your problems. How can you begin to take responsibility for a long-standing problem in your life? Consider the example about the dog barking. Okay. So, man, I've done so much of this work already. So much. I used to blame my dad for not being in my life and making me raise myself. My stepfather for being so shitty. My mom for picking both of those motherfuckers. Like, I would blame everyone else for my problems. My family for not loving me right. For, my ex for not having an open throat chakra and making me go elsewhere. Like, all sorts of fucking victim mentality. Like, I've done a lot of work. Number 7, what other calculations can you make before preparing your mind for daily practice? What challenges do you normally face every morning or every evening or during the day? What challenges continue to rise? What wars do you know you're going to face? Oh, you fucking hate that coworker, but you work with that person, so you're going to see him every day. You're going to see her every day. What are you going to do now to master the mind when it comes to that person so that they don't trigger you, so that they don't fuck with your peace? Because you know that war is coming. You know that internal battle is coming. What calculations are you going to make? Number 8, in what way are you vigilant in guarding your mind from restless thoughts and desires throughout the day? Number 9, give an example when you were not risen to high emotion or desire and were able to investigate your experience in order to move towards a place where your emotions didn't control you the next time. All right, we got like two more, three more, and then we're done. Number 10. What is your greatest perceived weakness, and how can you become knowledgeable about it so you can conquer or move through it? One of the biggest motherfucking examples I could give you of this is that when I realized that I was a narcissist, I studied the fuck out of narcissism. The fuck out of it. And it literally helped me recognize how it hurts other people. And then it also later on revealed when I was dating a narcissist who didn't think she was a narcissist, but after spending decades with a narcissist and being human, and being human means you are going to grab on to traits of your environment. That's why they say you will become, most likely, like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Because we just adopt monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. It's very primal. So if you're not careful and you're around a horrible human being for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you better take full inventory of yourself when you leave that environment, because chances are you picked up some of that shit. So what about you? Are you willing to study that you don't like about you that's in contrast to who you want to become? And what are you willing to study about it? 11. What activities can you incorporate into your daily path to peace and wholeness? Things that emphasize doing something new and different to gain greater self-awareness of your habitual patterns. And last, 12. What one small change can you make today toward your own self-wholeness and new future? What one small change? Well, I don't think it's small. But the one change is every morning. This is what I'm going to do. Every morning, I am going to use my high performance planner by Brendan Burchard that I just got, which is awesome, by the way. Has like, you have to answer 10 questions in the morning right away to get your mindset right and remember what you're working towards. What changes are you working towards? What are you building? What are you trying to accomplish? And then when I do that journal, I'm going to get an insight based on the top 3 things I want to accomplish that day. I could take a look at the possible hurdles that may arise, the wars I might face. So what I'm going to do, the one small change is I am going to calculate every morning. I'm going to calculate the potential battles I am going to possibly face, whether they have to do with food, the amount of hours I put into work, working out, my morning routine, whatever I need to accomplish. What wars am I going to face so that I am mentally prepared when that emotion arises, that desire arises, that habit arises, that reflex, and I can master it. That's the one thing I'm going to do. I hope you've had fun today. I hope you had a good time, Instagram, the 2 of you or 3 of you, whoever's on here. And thank you, YouTube, for watching. That concludes technically day 4, and we completed chapter 1. Tomorrow we start chapter 2, the costs of waging mental war. That's chapter 2 tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be uploading this to YouTube within the next half hour. And if you want to catch up, all the other readings are on my YouTube. The videos will get better. Forgive the first couple of ones because I was fucking around. Now they're going to look better. They're going to be better. And we'll continue improving, just like in life. We'll continue to improve. I want to have a good production. I want good lighting. I need some more lights. I need some lights over here, maybe some YouTube lights in the back. I need to control these up here. So we'll get it all done. But thank you again for joining Reading Reyes. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Peace out. Shutting YouTube down.